This is a guy who, for whatever reason, has chosen, and whatever reason is the point of the film, has chosen to disengage from the world, to lock himself in his own prison. There's the discovery of this dog. This discovery of this abused dog sets everything else in motion. It opens him up in a very different way that he didn't necessarily plan on, and maybe he didn't necessarily want or think he wanted. But once he opens up to that, then the old Bob starts to come up again. And there's a point where one character says to another, do not underestimate this guy. The character who knows him quite well says, you think you know what you're seeing in front of you, but you're not. You don't really know who a person is until an extreme choice has been placed in front of them. And that's the basis of drama. That's all drama is. It's, okay, so who is this guy really? Well, let's find out what he's like in a fire. Let's find out what he's like when a tough or irreconcilable choice is put in front of him. And that's just basically, that's drama 101. And the drop is, again, Bob would have floated through the world living a life of quiet desperation if it weren't for this one thing. The moment he finds that puppy in the trash can and everything else spins out from it. They knew that I was the biggest cheerleader for Gandolfini. I wanted Gandolfini in there big. I wanted that. He was so perfect for the part. He was so, I remember somebody getting in an argument with one of the producers about it, and he said, he's just too on the nose. And I said, no, on the nose means he's perfect. Can we please get the really on the nose actor? So in the end, that's who was cast. And I was so excited about it, I went back into the script one more time. I said, I want one more pass. I want to take my Gandolfini pass. And I wrote extra scenes and extra lines for Marv because I knew who was going to be delivering.
They noticed. What'd you ever have? A bar stool that you put that old biddy at and bought her free drinks, and don't think I don't know that you did it on purpose.
The dangerous nature of thwarted dreams, I think, is something that's also a big player in this piece. There's a sense with Tom that when he's on screen that 50% of the performance is what's going on inside of this guy, not what he's putting on the screen. And that's what I always felt with Brando. There's so much more going on in his characters in those early films, particularly, on the waterfront and in Streetcar Named Desire and the Wild Ones. You feel this whole other biography that's underneath the guy. And that's Tom. I mean, you watch some of his scenes.
We had a crew back in the day when we was young. Marv, he thought he was a tough guy. Then the neighborhood changed. It wasn't enough to be tough no more. You had to be mean.
I'm so character-driven that I have to be whipped back into place in terms of plot. It's always been the last thing that occurs to me, both as a novelist and a screenwriter. I'm all about what's going on in this guy's head, and what's he going to say, and what's he thinking right now, and then all of a sudden somebody will say, yeah, there's a story to tell. Oh, okay, all right. So I usually write scripts a little long. The look of the film and the performances that are going to be elicited are directors' jobs. I have no expectation that I have any control over that, nor do I want it. I mean, I'm just a screenwriter. I'm there to do my part. So Mikhail and I worked really well. Mikhail and I were constantly talking, working our way through any of the problems he had with the script or whatever he was bringing to me. It would be, okay, Dennis, I'm not sure this is really, working for me exactly, and then he'd say why, and it's all right. Well, give me a day, and let me go tweak that. If I agree, let me go tweak the scene. Yeah. Oh, screenwriting and novel writing are, for me, I can't make a universal statement, but for me, they're completely different. They're the difference between an apple and a giraffe. They're just, the only thing they share is narrative DNA. They're both storytelling, but they're so different in terms of execution that I can't even quantify it. I was trained as a screenwriter on the TV show The Wire, and I was schooled in the writer's room of The Wire, and that's what we did. We outlined every episode before we wrote a line. When I first wrote The Drop, as a short story, I just blasted it out. I just wrote it. I just figured, I don't know where this guy's going. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I wonder what happens. And then you get to the end, and you go, that's what happened. When I wrote the script, it was like, okay, now I need to break this down into 3 acts. Then I need to break it down into beats within the acts. Then I need to put all those on 3x5 cards and throw them up on a bulletin board. And then I need to follow that map. And that's what I did. Since The Drop, I've written 3 more scripts. And I've in the process of developing a number of television shows. So I definitely see myself in that world. I see myself in that world because I'm in that world right now. It's very attractive. It's very enjoyable. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be a novelist, though. So I will always be writing novels. I don't know what that schedule is going to be, but then, as any of my fans know, thank you, fans, I've never been predictable in terms of how I put out a book anyway. I'm not a book a year guy. I'm not even a book every 2 years guy. I'm a book whenever I finish the book guy. I just make this up as I go. I try to keep it very simple. Tell the best story you know how to do it in whatever medium fits that story.